What's up, everyone? Check out the Comic Outlaw on YouTube, and I'm Jack Slater, aka the Comic Outlaw. And yeah, we're going back to the Gamma Green Goliath, She-Hulk, the Savage She-Hulk, in the grip of the Grappler. Yes, the Grappler. She's fought Elephant Man, so why not the Grappler? Let's get into this, shall we? And untangle this interesting story of She-Hulk. And right now, Jennifer Walters is kind of lost and bitter. Everything in her life seems to be falling apart. Nothing goes easy for her, you know. All the cases she takes seem to turn to dust. She's having problems with her dad. But everything seems to go very easy for She-Hulk. And there's her dad right now with another woman. And she's just basically trying to steal him away, you know, trying to marry him off, get the house, sell it, you know, take all the money and run. And that's the basic what's going on with her dad. And Zapper, of course, is cruising around kissing a picture of She-Hulk because he's involved with She-Hulk, but not Jennifer. Very interesting. And one of his friends discovered that the blood sample that he brought to the lab that day was actually She-Hulk's. And they want to do some more tests on it. Meanwhile, this man named Lou, who did a favor for her in the previous issue, wants to hire her in order to get himself off of the crime. And he pays her a lot of money. A lot of money. And this is money that Jen could use at this point. She's been having a lot of financial problems. You know, she owes money to her dad. She owes money to different people. And she's also having problems, like I said, with her job. There's Buck right there who's feeling guilty about his friend dying, which She-Hulk was actually cleared for, you know, because she was accused of that murder. So she's going back and forth. And she also owes a favor to a man named Michael Morbius, the vampire, whose serum actually allowed her to change back and forth and allowed her to live. But meanwhile, while she's driving to go see Morbius, the Grappler appears. And this man is about to rob an armored car. You know, basically just a B&E, smash and grab. And Jennifer Walters begins to change. She begins to change into the savage She-Hulk. As the Grappler's opens the door, takes care of the man, and you get a little worried in here about how he's always had a fight, how, you know, he's always had to grapple his way to the top, I guess you could say. And She-Hulk appears, and this is kind of interesting because he's taking her to school. He doesn't have any super strength, but he's a magnificent fighter. And She-Hulk is strong, but she is clumsy. She doesn't have any finesse. She doesn't know how to fight, and so he's just toying with her right now. And this is where he uses his staff to start to pry open the door. But She-Hulk comes for him, and I love how he just bends it back and slingshots her away and grabs the gold. Yes, the Grappler has the gold. And he does something very interesting that none of the other villains have done. He makes an offer to She-Hulk. He's all, look at the gold, the pretty gold. They could buy you whatever you want. Let's team up. Why should you take crap from people when you can rule them? We can have anything we want. And for a minute there, just for a minute, she's tempted. Now, her dad's holding the check that Jen gave her, you know, that dude Lou gave her, and it's a nice amount of money. And he's a little surprised that she's paying him back, you know, but as I said, the girlfriend doesn't really trust her, and somewhat neither does the dad. Back to She-Hulk, she's contemplating whether or not she's going to take the gold, and she says no. And they go back to the fight, and the Grappler is just tossing her around. I mean, like, he's literally just throwing her back and forth. Every time she charges at him, he finds a way to duck and dodge. And until his staff opens up and fires these metal coils, which really do nothing to She-Hulk because she's able just to bend steel. But She-Hulk gets up, starts fighting, and man, is she not happy. She picks up the whole armored car and throws it at him, while the Grappler takes off in his jet and starts to fly away. Now She-Hulk is mad at this point, and she does something that her cousin has done very often. She starts to follow the bad guy. Meanwhile, Zapper is kind of explaining what's going on with her blood, the blood test, you know, how they want to examine more of it. And this guy's kind of blackmailing Zapper into it. But as I said, She-Hulk does something that her cousin does a lot. This is her first super leap. Check that out. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's a flying She-Hulk, and she's there to crush the Grappler once and for all. She jumps onto the jet, and she just starts ripping it apart. And The Grappler has skills, but he has skills standing up, not sitting down and trying to pilot a plane and taking on She-Hulk at the same time. I love how she just grabs his bar and just twists it around him. A little payback from earlier. And with the Grappler grappled, he lands the jet down. The police get out to arrest him, and she runs away. It's a good thing she packs some extra clothes, because Jen needs them. There's someone skulking around Morbius's office looking for something. And of course, she tries to give the check back to this Lou guy. He says no. She defends him, and of course, she gets him off. You know, he's not guilty. Jen is a good lawyer after all, but she doesn't take the money. The check doesn't clear. It's worthless. Her dad gets mad at her because he thinks that she's lied to him again. And Zapper and this guy are discussing possibilities for the She-Hulk blood and research, while Jen is kind of grappling with who she is and who the She-Hulk is and the differences between them. Little does she know, there are no differences between them. They are one entity. They just need to learn to live as one. But we'll find out the next time, won't we? And I'll catch you on the flip side.